Metzia, the third period. And before we learn of Mafkin, we have to discuss a little about the laws of watchers. You must understand there's a general rule is the more benefit the shomer, the watcher, has in watching the article that is placed in his control, the more responsibility he has in relation to that watching. We have an extreme. If you look in the Sefer Shmos, and you should know these laws were also given at Sinai, Rashi tells us, and if you look in Mishpatim, you'll find certain laws talking about shomering, and therefore they tell about what, in fact, the responsibilities are. For instance, if you look on page 55, that would be in chapter 22, Chaf Beis, Posik Vav. You have it?
Ki ten
Ish
El Rei Ehu Ket.
Ket. All right, Simalea. The person gives to his friend money or a vessel to watch, and it's stolen from the house of the man. If the ganef is found, the ganef has to pay double as a penalty. All right? Now, you must understand, that's one posik talking about it. Then it goes on a couple more psukim on this very type of shomri. And if the ganef is not found, then the balabayis has to come to Elohim. Elohim means the Bezdin. And there's got to be an oath taken by the shomer that he did not take his hand and take it away from the other person. In other words, the stealing was not done by a stranger, but by him himself. All right. Read the next one. On any matter that involves any kind of an oath, where they have to make an oath of some kind, on an ox and on a donkey and on a sheep and any kind of clothing or any other kind of a lost article that they say this is. In other words, he says he admits a portion of the claim against him by the tribunal. The matter comes before them. The one that's the guilty party, they have to pay double, kofel, to the other one. Now, all this is talking about a shomer pinam. A shomer pinam.
Just a second.
A person that watches for nothing. Maximum benefit is to the.
Could I say the four shomers?
Yeah.
There's a shomer Chidum who watches for free. A shomer socher, he rents. He's a renter. A shomer sophomore, he is a paid shomer. He's paid to do it. It's like what, like a car that's paid. Who's a borrower.
No, the borrower has the maximum benefit from it, and the shomer chinam
Gives the most benefit.
has the most benefit from it. He has the least amount of benefit.
Yeah.
The next type of shomrim, the shomer talking about the next month, test.
Test ki yitain ish chamor o shor o sakol bahema lishmor umeis o nishbar o nish.
A renter, a sofer, a shomer, that he's paid, a paid watcher. So there he gets benefit, and also the owner gets benefit because he's watching. And let's put it like this. A shomer, well, a person that watches for nothing, for free, he gets no benefit from it, and the only benefit that, all the benefits are coming to the owner. In such a circumstance, we say that the owner, most of the responsibility of what has occurring, or something else happened to it, or lost. Shomer was not Hoshe, or even what?
Oh yeah, I see. Should I read the Mishnah?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
They don't mind if I go first?
Nobody am I.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're okay.
Okay. So, come on, I'm trying to tell them.
Okay.
Unless if it was say plowing a field in normal use.
Normal. The terminology is mesamo. It dies while it is. And like Rashi, that's what it's showing. Now the shomer socher, the one that the benefit because he gets money for it, at the same time the borrower gets money for it, but he's in the middle stage. For honest, he's still potter. He is not obligated to pay if there was an accident happening to it. But a Gneva and Aveda, if it was stolen or lost, he is responsible to pay for it because he did get some benefit from it. And certainly if he is negligent, or shale, I understand the different classifications. There is a dispute among the whether or not whether he is like a shomer socha or like a shomer.
We had that class on.
You did?
Yeah.
See, there's a dispute.
Right now we're over dollar number B, but we're going to start with or without.
Use any way you want.
Let's just talk about a shomer Chilam. So a guy who watches, and this guy, the owner of an object, was like, for example, he's going away on a trip. He's watching for it, so he drops it off by his friend.
All right, fine.
Okay, and it is thereby termed the Hema O Kalim. If it was an animal or a utensil, he could drop it off. Shilei below Matzil Shava. He pays and does not wish to swear.
In other words, there are some that feel that they don't want to go and take the name of God and swear, and they're to pay off rather than swear. Now once he pays off, in effect what happens by paying, he assumes the position of the original owner. It is found.
We didn't get to that part of
it.
Swear and go free without paying.
See, that's good to know where it comes from. He did. If you find the God of later on, no, Mishalim Tashkulipo, you pay a double payment, and then
tell us the walker if I don't show 4 times if it was a sheep and 5 times for.
This is these are penalties set up by what happens to these types of individuals. They steal somebody's article and they go.
Yeah, it's 4 times for sheep because of carrying it on his shoulders while the oxen can just lead around and the Torah's worried about man's
right?
Let me Michelle, to who does the God of pay? Yeah.
After it's already been a choice of Shilam Yeshua, that the Shomer Pinam paid rather than not want to swear.
Okay. Lumi Shabi Kadam Etzlo. To the one who the.
Why?
He's one of the reasons he's the one that's out. The owner has been reimbursed. Can't the owner just say, I can give him back the money he gave me?
No. He's out, and not only that, by the fact that he has given the money before you even realize, before you don't even know if the God is going to be found or anything. So in effect, he is choosing to pay.
He swears that Allah does not wish to pay. Rishal Tashlume Kefo. He pays the payment of double. Come off, but the God slaughtered and sold it. Rishal Tashlume the Baal Hapikado to the owner of the deposit.
Why?
Because there was no trade thereby the owner's still the one that's out, and he didn't transfer the rights of the people.
You know how to read the Rashi?
He does not wish to swear. Show me. Yad, Haya, Rechul, Yochol.
He was
Liftar, and will swear that
with this oath,
Liftar,
with the kilo,
Kana, Kol,
Mel,
Kol, since he paid, acquired the rights of the people.
Yeah, whatever it some people or Bisho, whatever it comes.
But that's a kefil of the kefil.
Okay? Yeah.
I was supposed to know this by heart, Not to close the statement to it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to embarrass you, but I know you do it.
First of all, before you say
This is a question.
yeah.
Can I read the whole thing? Because when it's separated, it's book of animals, Kalim.
Why can't we just learn the case of one and for the presence of the other from
Just need to repeat over and over again the same.
if we only learn the case of the Havamina, I would have thought to say Behema who the Makne Kefela. That in the case of Behema, he does transfer the rights of the Kefil.
Why?
Mishu, because there is an increase in his father. Yula to bring it out a cow.
Oh, you got to bring it in and out. No, when you're watching it, sleep, and all these things, and you've got to do the right things in relation to it. See its milk, the proper time, and all the necessities that are required.
I'm healing below the face chair vehicle.
When you have two units with a hay,
There's father. Ava, I might say low Makne Kefela, that he does not transfer the rights of double to.
sell them, and then swear.
The Tarakiri, Havamina, I might have thought to say Caleb. Then the case of Caleb, he does transfer the rights of Kefil. Mishu, because below Nafesh Keflahu, Keflahu, there's no precedent doubling them.
Yeah.
Okay. Avil Behema, but in the case of Behema, he pays a payment of 4 times for a sheep, 5 times for an ox. He does not transfer to him the rights of double of. Therefore,
it sinks into you the reading, the explanation of the Gemara. And together with the Gemara and the Rashi, you have already, you understand a good portion of any question and answer that the Taisus may ask. I know you're not learning Taisus now. On the other side, you might learn them, but once you learn the Rashi, you already got an understanding of the Gemara that you can handle other questions. And this balances out as great as a person does. I'm very happy that you came to this madrigal already. You've made tremendous progression in all of our continue.
It's so easy.
You learned from me the way I give you this. Once you know how to say it, it's really not that difficult. It's just a question of, the first time, remember you had to learn to read the Rashi script? Yeah, but it's so beautiful to learn God's Torah. And there will come a time when Baruch Hashem, you will sit at a shir and you'll be teaching others tomorrow. And it will be a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. And you got a good beginning. Because you read the words, you don't read them like you're reading them, you're making intelligent Torah. Maybe we'll hold this point. Every Tuesday, believe that, we'll review or go a little further. Or you want to go a little further now? This is it. Go ahead. We're on Daf Lamed Beis, and we're about 4 shuros from the bottom.
Where?
Rabbi Bar Chama.
Basket for Rabbi Bar Chama questioned
How can you say?
The Mishnah. He questioned the Mishnah. Okay.
What does he question?
He questioned, how could you say that he sells him the rights of kefil when the kefil does not yet exist?
That's right.
Because it has not been stolen yet. They've not found the thief yet, and if they find him, he may confess and go free, as the Gemara will say.
He may
and not have to pay at all.
Not have to.
And there won't be any.
He wouldn't have to pay kefil. There won't be any penalty, but he would have to pay for what he stole.
Or just
This is something that may never come to pass. How can you say that a person can sell something? What can you sell something if it exists? But it doesn't even exist. This we have there in the present day, we have the stock market, they sell futures. For instance, they sell the grain that's mature in a few months, so they sell it now. For this thing, now, we're asking here, is this possible? Is it possible to sell something that's...
We'll find out. But man cannot transfer something that has not yet come to the world.
We have a general rule. Ordinarily, a person cannot transfer title to something that has not come into the world. So how can you say here that you can transfer?
Easy, by saying, Okay. Amar, and even according to Rabbi Meir, who says
Meir is a minority opinion. He's a Tanum. He's a minority opinion. And what does he say?
other Mafe Devar Shalom Bala Olam, a man can't transfer something.
As a Yochid, he says, other Machador. Even according to Rabbi Meir that says that you can do this, he qualifies it. When can you do it? I mean, when is it so?
When is it so? Could go, for instance, Pirus Deco, the fruits of a date tree.
Or a tree.
Date tree, unless I do it, get yelled at. Well, not yelled at, but...
Yeah, that's right. To transfer it the way you learn it, the way you learn it.
The also, for they are accustomed to...
The fact, why are they accustomed to come?
Because there's already a tree, and every year for the past 15 years, it's had it. Okay, so it's a little...
It's always given fruit.
Yeah.
And God being God, and since He has promised that it will continue to be the way it is, unless God forbid the tree dies or something, and grows. But ordinarily, there's a pretty good chance that deco exists. The Paris will in its proper time.
But, okay, Avol Hacha, but here, Be'emer, who will say,
On top of Lamadal.
Be'emer, who will say, the Begadol, that the Begadva, that it will be stolen. Because this is when they first meet. They're making an agreement.
When we first established, so who says that there will ever be a theft?
Right.
Ordinarily, Kaplan or anything of that nature, ordinarily you expect that the shomer will watch the article or the behavior and return it to the Baal. You're not like going into a big time transaction and everything like that. So who says the Emerson Miknavah? Who says that it will be stolen in the first place?
To meet Tipsy Lomar, and if you'll find to say the meaning,
The Miknavah.
the Miknavah, that it will be stolen. The Mishtach Gadam, that the God will be found.
Who says that the thief will be found? It could be stolen and you never find it again that way. Why you got such an efficient police force that they're going to find always the guy? Why it should be, but you're not being realistic if you assume that every time there's a Geneva, there's always found.
And if you say the God will be found, Be'emer, who will say the Meshalim, that he will pay.
That's it.
The God.
And how much will he pay? Why? Why won't he pay the cable? Why not?
Because perhaps the Lobe, perhaps Modi, he will confess Uber Patar and go and be free
Patar from
paying.
Paying the cable. Still has to return the life of the stolen guy, or have to pay its value.
Okay. Now should I do our Rava?
Like Pesach says there, look at Pesach there. See on top?
Yeah.
Period. Your mohar, he will be swift to admit it and establish the fact. In other words,
So you get off without paying.
he's caught. He's trying to go and cover up. And therefore then the Torah then punishes him. But if a person admits that he made a mistake, God does not want to...
He doesn't admit he made a mistake, he just admits that he did his livelihood. It does that.
Person at all times.
He must really, but he can just say that. I want to pay now, I don't want to pay double.
Yeah. A person admits a thing that involves not punishment, a double like this. After he becomes witnesses, he's free from paying the cost. Now, fine, hey, on Daiki, we learn out the local Rav, we don't learn like Rav.
You have you have the basic?
Yeah. Well,
I'll pay other than no. There's no letter.
there's two,
I don't.
I mean, common base. And one dot.
Oh, I thought you have to have 2 dots and then whatever
No.
letter.
When you see a dot, one dot, you coming out.
That's cool.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I think we'll keep.
All right. Anyway, you want to go further?
Okay.
Did you learn the Rashi on this?
I don't believe so. Well, maybe a little, but I don't know if we reviewed it. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Na'asak Omer Lo. is just like he said to him. Just like who said to him? That's the obvious question, right?
Yeah.
It is just like the owner said to the shomer.
Tigona. Lishatigona. Lishatigona.
Wait, Tigona.
Lishatigona. If it will be sold.
And you will be willing to shall baby and to pay me.
You'll pay me.
Harasi, no, Kanuya. Well, I'll get to that.
No.
It's just like my
read the whole thing. Omar Rob. Nasi Omer Lo. Tikon Rana. Tisa May.
But I just did it.
I didn't hear it. Omar Rob.
Rava says, Na'asaka Omer Lo. It's just like he said to him, L'chishas
Tagno.
Wait, could you not say God? I'm confused. Could you just say the first part?
Tigona. Lishatigona.
Lishati.
Sorry. Lishatigona.
Lishati Gano.
Tisa.
I gotta look at the vowels because I can't.
All right, how do you bow over there? How do you bow?
It's just like he said to him, Shati Ganev, that if it will be stolen for Tirta, and you'll be willing to shall baby to pay me. Harei Parasi Kanuya Machar. Then my animal is sold to you, may action from this moment on.
Who holds this point? And for Friedlander, next time we learn this point. Okay?
Let's keep low Rabbi Zero.
Call Rabbi David. And we'll ask the question on by Rabbi David. But I want you to review this and we'll see you have it down pat.
But Father, we're already behind the class already. If I go back to review this, I'm not going to be doing the front.
Who said you shouldn't do that too? You learn the new and learn the a good way to do it is to keep on learning the old and up to the point that you learn the new and learn the new. That way you have the continuity.
I know, but the fact is, since I don't, by the time I get to the new, it's
right.
too late.
Right,
so my Rabbi suggests that first I do the new because we're on the new.
All right, do the new then.
And then I can go.
We'll do that. When you come home, you'll do the Metzia, the third pairing component. And before we learn the Mafkin, we have to discuss a little about the laws of Shomrim, of watchers. You must understand there's a general rule is the more benefit the Shomer, the watcher, has in watching the article that is placed in his control, the more responsibility he has in relation to that watching. We have an extreme. The Gemara discusses Tibrish most. You should know these laws were also given at Sinai, Rashi tells us. And if you look in Mishpatim, you'll find certain laws talking about Shomrim. And therefore they tell about what, in fact, the responsibilities are. For instance, if you look on page 55, that would be in chapter 22, Posik. You have it?
Ki ten.
Ish.
El Rei Ehu Ket.
Ket. All right, Simalea. The person gives to his friend money or vessel to watch, and it's stolen from the house of the man. If the garnet is found, the garnet has to pay double as a penalty. All right? Now, you must understand, that's one pasuk talking about it. Then it goes on a couple more pasukim on this very type of shomri. Read the next two pasukim. And if the garnet is not found, then the balabait has to come to Elohim. Elohim means the Bezdin. And there's got to be a book taken by the shomer that he did not take his hand and take it away from the other person. In other words, the stealing was not done by a stranger, but by him himself. All right. Read the next one. On any matter that involves any kind of an oath
where they have to make an oath of some kind on an ox and on a donkey and on a sheep and any kind of clothing or any other kind of a lost article that they say this is this. In other words, he says that he admits a portion of the claim against them by the tribunal. The matter comes before them. The one that the tribunal goes and says is the guilty party, they have to pay double, kofel, to the other one. Now, all this, the Gemara tells us, is talking about a shomer chinam.
The shomer chinam has.
A person that watches for nothing. The maximum benefit is to the...
Could I say the four shomers?
Yeah.
There's a shomer chinam who watches for free. A shomer socher, he rents, he's a renter. A shomer sachar, he is a paid shomer. He's paid to do it. It's like what? A guard or something. That's paid. Doyle, who's a borrower.
Now, the borrower has the maximum benefit from it. And the shomer chinam gives the most benefit from it. He has the least amount of benefit.
Good.
And then the shomer, the next type of shomrim, the shomer talking about person that the imam tests, he can reject.
Test?
Yeah.
I see. El Re'e Chamor O Shor O Se Bakol Bahema Lishmor Umes O Nish O Nish.
The Chazal tell us in the Gemara that this is talking about a shomer socher, a renter, socher, a shomer that you said he's paid watcher. So there he gets benefit, and also the owner gets benefit because he's watching it for you. So let's put it like this: a person that watches for nothing, for free, he gets no benefit from it, and the only benefit that all the benefits are coming to the owner. In such a circumstance, we say that the owner has to assume most of the responsibility of what happened. If there was an accident occurring, an owner's accident occurring, the thing was died, or something else happened to it, or it was stolen, but nobody saw it or anything like that, it was broken or anything, or say for instance there was not only an accident, if it was stolen or lost, as long as the shomer was not poshea, he was not negligent.
Or he didn't use it for his own purposes.
Or he did not use it for his own purposes, he should be potter, free from the responsibility of paying for it. Or even what?
No. Oh yeah, I see it. Should I read the Mishnah?
If, on the other hand, the shomer, the one that borrows it, he has the maximum benefit of it. He has to pay not only for if it is an accident to it, but also not only if it's stolen and lost, but even if an accident occurs, he has to pay for it. And when is he potter from paying?
Oh, good answer.
Yeah.
Okay. First.
Nobody have money.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but okay.
Unless, like if it was an animal, if it dies while it's plowing a field in normal use.
Normal. The terminology is Metzia machmas melocho. It dies while it's being used, and like Rashi learned Pshat, a royal, that's fit for it to be used. You're not supposed to overuse it in a different way.
Yeah, we learned that Rashi.
Yeah. So that's what it shows. Now the shomer socher, the one that the benefit because he gets money for it, at the same time the Baal gets money for it, he's in the middle state. For honest, he's still potter. He is not obligated to pay if there was an accident happening to him. But Gneva Aveda, if it was stolen or lost, he is responsible to pay for it because he did get some benefit from it. And certainly if he is negligent, Hoshea, in relation to it. So you understand the different classifications? There is a dispute from the Chazal whether or not the fourth classification, the one that you called about the renter, whether he is or a shomer chinam.
Yeah, we had that in class.
You did?
Yeah.
See, there's a dispute. Rabbi Meir says like a shomer chinam. You understand that? Or you've been learning this the academy, you are to go now, repeat the Gemara. You've said the Gemara, and presumably you reviewed it. All right, now say it.
Okay, wait. What? You see, right now we're already on Lao and Dollar number base.
I understand that.
But where do I want to start?
I want you to start from the Mishnah. Read it any way you want. Just give me explain it to me. I never learned the Gemara before. Let me know what it means.
Habakid, this is talking about a guy who watches for free.
Right.
And this guy, the owner of an object, was like, for example, he's going away on a trip,
Yeah.
and he doesn't want his cow to die of starvation, so he lets his friend borrow it, or watch it for him.
Or whatever.
So he drops it off by his friend.
All right, fine.
Okay. And it is thereby termed Behema O Kalim. If it was an animal or a utensil.
All right.
Well, he could drop it off by Nigbibu O Shavil, and it was stolen or lost.
Now, if it was a shale, if he was negligent in regards to that, of course you'd have to pay for it. Because nobody's entitled to be negligent in watching it. But let's say he's not negligent, and it was still stolen and it was lost. You understand?
Yep.
Now the question is, what could be? All right, go ahead.
She laid below Matzil Shava. He pays and does not wish to swear.
In other words, there are some that feel that they don't want to go and take the name of God and swear, and they prefer to pay off rather than swear. Now, once he pays off, in effect, what happens by paying off, he assumes the position of the original owner. If later on they find a gun, and if the gun is found,
We didn't get to that part of it.
Shaharei,
Because they say, no, he'll say, a shomer chidam could bear and go free without paying.
they just swear.
Nimsa Hagan, they finally got him.